Visitors to the High Desert Museum will tell you a whole lot gets packed into a day here. But what visitors see isn't the half of it. And tonight, we're going to take you behind the scenes and give you a peek at what it takes to keep this amazing place humming.
When visitors come into the museum, it is seamless and the scenery is contemplative, but behind the scenes, it's a symphony of moving parts that moves elegantly at times to make sure that our exhibits look amazing, that the wildlife are available for our visitors, and creating the content that connects them to our mission.
Exhibits are a key part of that mission, so that's where we'll begin our tour. In addition to our 2 permanent indoor exhibits, we open 9 fresh exhibitions every year. They don't come together quite as quickly as this one appears to. Each one takes months to research, develop, and install. Beyond what the public sees, there are thousands of historical treasures tucked away in our vault. They're meticulously cared for and archived by staff and volunteers.
Oh, he's saying hi.
And then there's our living collection, nearly 200 mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. It takes tremendous effort to care for all of them 365 days a year, especially this little guy. It also takes a whole lot of food, nearly 9 tons each year. Wildlife staff are up early, training raptors, feeding mammals, doing weigh-ins.
Our focus is to try and make people passionate about wildlife. When you see a little boy or a little girl or even an adult have that sparkle in their eye from something they learned from you, that's really probably the most rewarding part of my job.
While the wildlife staff is taking care of the animals, living history characters are putting the finishing touches on their costumes and getting into character. But before they start interacting with visitors, there's work to be done at the ranch.
The whole ranch scene in 1904 is a second home for me. I have to worry about the roof, the shingles, the chickens. It goes on and on. It's a second home. You have traveled back in time. Where are you from? Georgia.
Creating connections to the past is exactly what Don Kerr hoped for when he approached Mike Hollern of Brooks Resources some 35 years ago. Don had what Mike refers to as a weird idea for a museum.
Usually when people come with kind of harebrained ideas, they kind of lose interest and go away. But he kept coming back. And I was particularly interested in his approach to using the High Desert Museum as a place that would mediate natural resource disputes, that come up with those proverbial win-win solutions. And that's really what sold me on the whole concept.
We actually found this all by ourselves. I'm not kidding.
Another asset Mike saw for the community was the education it would bring.
Bend back then was really still a blue-collar town, a lumber town, and there was not very much cultural activity going on. And what the museum did was to add something that visitors, people who wanted to, or ultimately considered moving and did move their businesses to Bend or Central Oregon, said, hey, this is kind of cool. And I don't think the museum has been given adequate credit for the impact that it has had on the positive growth of Bend over the last 20, 25 years.
It's very fun building squid.
The most rewarding part of my job might be the thank you notes that I get from kids. You don't realize what you are doing and the impact that you have at that moment, but when they're able to reflect, they're gonna let you know what their most favorite part of the day was. And it might have been the porcupine or the otter, but a lot of times it's the program that we put on for them.
For those moments when we see visitors, adults, children connecting to a living history character in 1904, or for a moment being captivated by a raptor flying over them, it's magical and that moment never goes away.
We are so fortunate to have a nationally accredited museum in our backyard. I don't know if people realize that we are privately funded, so community support is vital. We cannot keep our doors open without it.
And these doors welcome more than 163,000 visitors each year. So tonight, quiet and rest, because tomorrow we'll do it all again.